afternoon, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now, live at 4 on this Thursday.
It's chilly again.
I turned the heat off at home.
Yeah,
you turn it back on.
I know. Everybody's talking about it. Well, it'll turn the corner here eventually.
Yeah, it will. And we'll be complaining about the heat in no time.
Probably.
So here's what's making news on this Thursday. Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report, including President Donald Trump's written responses submitted in the Russian probe, were released to the public today. We'll have what we all learned.
And we will talk to Charles Franklin about it later this hour as well. There's a push to legalize marijuana in Wisconsin. Our Rose Schmidt is here with that.
And more trouble for those living along the Wisconsin River in Adams and Columbia counties as water continues to rise. Our Keely Arthur is there. She'll have a live report.
Let's take a look outside today. As we were saying, cloudy and cool most of the day.
Yeah, it really was. And
oh, there they are.
There they are.
That's the women's team. That's the women's crew team.
And there's the weather words.
Yeah, and the weather words they're cold.
They never sent the weather out today, did they? I didn't see it. Anyway, hope that things will get better.
Yes, we did.
Let me double check. Dana?
Look, you're going to have to take that up with Mr. Canalti.
Okay.
The email's outside of my control. So if the weather words were there, it'd say, here comes the sun. That's what we're going with for today. Right now it's cloudy. It is drizzling outside here on the patio. If you're going to step out in Madison at any time, just know that you may feel a few raindrops this evening, but no heavy showers expected. Certainly no more thunderstorms expected. Just cloudy outside and a little dreary. Also very chilly currently. And again, Doppler track, we're not even picking up any rain, but trust me, it's misting outside right now. We're at about 43 in Madison, 46 in Janesville, and 47 in Platteville. The warmer air is well off to the east now. Notice throughout the Midwest, it's a little cool outside. Our dew points have dropped significantly. We were in the 50s yesterday. Now we're in the mid-30s with our dew points. About a 21-degree drop in Dubuque and a 12-degree drop for us in Madison. Over the next 12 hours, our temps are actually going to hold pretty steady initially. And then our skies will start to become partly cloudy by early tomorrow morning. That's going to help us fall to the upper 30s for overnight lows. Friday, though, the good news, it's going to bring along some sunshine for us. And temperature-wise, it'll be a little more mild outside for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But we'll take a closer look at that weekend in just a few minutes. Right now, we're looking at 39 and 90 right at Woodman. Right now, 39 and 90 seems to be okay. Notice the camera shaking just a little bit. We do have a bit of a breeze. The Beltline, we're seeing some delays along the eastbound side and westbound just after Park Street, but no accidents to report. Down around Janesville, things look okay right now as well. 7 minutes from Verona to the Beltline. It's a little longer than usual. 8 minutes from Oregon to the Beltline, and then 4 minutes from Springfield to University Avenue. 26 minutes from Janesville to the Beltline, 18 from Sauk City to Middleton, and 16 minutes from Sun Prairie to downtown. So your drive home this evening should be fairly smooth. Again, we're not talking about any more storms for tonight, but we'll take a closer look at this sunny weekend ahead in just a few minutes.
Looks like a nice Easter.
Yes, it will be.
Very much so.
All right, thank you, Dana. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Thank you, Dana. After 2 years of investigation, a redacted version of the Mueller report is out and is posted on the special counsel's website.
The Attorney General says it found no evidence of collusion nor obstruction by the President of the United States. Nicole Killian has more from the White House.
This hoax that should never happen to another president again.
President Trump hailed the Mueller report as it went public.
No collusion, no obstruction. I'm happy with it. There never was, by the way, and there never will be.
The 400-page report was delivered to Congress on a CD-ROM, nearly 2 hours after Attorney General William Barr laid out the findings.
The special counsel confirmed that the Russian government sponsored efforts to illegally interfere with the 2016 presidential election, but did not find that the Trump campaign or other Americans colluded in those efforts.
But on the issue of obstruction, the report noted if we had confidence after a thorough investigation of the facts that the president did not commit obstruction of justice, we would so state. However, we are unable to reach that judgment.
The report points to 10 episodes of possible obstruction, including the president's firing of FBI Director James Comey, and it suggests the president tried to seize control of the Russia probe.
When the president found out a special counsel had been appointed, he told then Attorney General Jeff Sessions, "Oh my God, this is terrible. This is the end of my presidency." The report adds, at one point, the president directed then White House counsel Don McGahn to call the acting attorney general and say Mueller must be removed because of conflicts of interest. Democrats want the full unredacted report and to hear from Mueller directly.
I think it was probably written with the intent of providing Congress a roadmap.
Attorney General Barr says he will allow congressional leaders to see a less redacted version of the report. In Washington, Nicole Killian for News 3 Now.
And Attorney General Barr is scheduled to testify publicly before the Senate Judiciary Committee next month. And later this hour, as Susan said, we'll discuss the report with Charles Franklin from the Marquette Law School poll. Well, new efforts are underway tonight to fully legalize marijuana across Wisconsin.
Representative Melissa Sargent is unveiling the latest bill. She says public support is at an all-time high. Rose Schmidt is here now to explain this proposal's chances. Rose?
Yes, well, Democratic Representative Melissa Sargent says to her it's not a question of either or when it comes to legalization for medical versus recreational use. She says it's high time for both. But among state leaders, there's a much larger divide. Sargent unveiled the bill today, the fourth time she's introduced it. She highlighted the jobs and economic benefits that legalization could create in Wisconsin, but faced criticism about a national study showing teens who use marijuana lost IQ points. Both Republican leaders, Speaker Robin Vos and Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald, say they don't support legalization. But Vos says he would be open to a limited form of medical marijuana. Nonetheless, though, Sargent says she will continue to fight for what she believes the people want.
I depend on my advocates, the friends and neighbors from across the state of Wisconsin that are passionate to reach out to their elected officials and have those conversations. I will continue knocking on doors and having conversations with my colleagues in this building as well. Quite frankly, I'm not afraid of the mountain that we have to climb here.
The latest Marquette Law School poll showed 83% of people say medical marijuana with a doctor's note should be legalized. 59% say they support full legalization. Democratic Governor Tony Evers included legalization of medical marijuana in his state budget proposal, but his office did not respond to my request for comment about whether he would support Sargent's bill calling for legalization of recreational use. As for the bill, Sargent is looking for co-sponsors, but says she does not believe that it will be bipartisan.
All right, Rose Schmidt, thank you.
Thank you, Rose. North Korea says it tested a new nuclear weapon with a powerful warhead. The North Koreans are not mincing words when it comes to any further diplomatic talks with the U.S. that involve Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. The foreign ministry doesn't want Pompeo at the negotiating table, saying that it prefers, quote, someone who is more careful and mature in communicating with us. North Korea claims Kim personally supervised the testing of a new nuclear weapon yesterday. U.S. officials say it was not a ballistic missile nor a threat to the U.S.
A ceremony in honor of the firefighters who tackled the devastating fire at Notre Dame Cathedral was held outside Paris City Hall on Thursday. The mayor of Paris told the crowd the firefighters who went toward the flames inside the iconic landmark had, quote, our infinite gratitude, our eternal appreciation. Investigators now think an electrical short circuit most likely caused the fire, but the official cause has not been determined. Investigators still don't have the green light to work in the cathedral and search in the rubble for safety reasons. Fire officials warn the massive cathedral still remains very fragile and dangerous for construction workers. And just days after that fire that nearly destroyed the cathedral, a New Jersey man has been charged with attempted arson at St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City. Police say 37-year-old Mark Lamparello parked his minivan outside the historic cathedral just before 8 p.m. last night. He then tried entering the building carrying 4 gallons of gasoline, 2 bottles of lighter fluid, and 2 butane lighters. He was quickly stopped by security inside and turned away, but not before police say he spilled gasoline on the floor. Lamparello is a philosophy instructor at Seton Hall University in New Jersey and had booked a flight to Rome.
Communities surrounding the Wisconsin River are preparing for flooding as the river continues to rise.
Both Adams County and Columbia County officials have sent out alerts to residents. Our Keely Arthur joins us in Portage with a look at how things are right now. Keely.
Well, this area is no stranger to flooding. Just last summer, parts of the interstate about 2 miles west of here were actually shut down because of flooding. Obviously, things not that bad right now, but officials warning it could get worse. That's because melting snow and recent storms are causing the Wisconsin River to continue to rise. As of this morning, the river is at 17 feet, which is considered action stage, the high water level stage just before flood stage. By this Saturday, April 20th, it's predicted to be at 20 feet. That level is considered a major flooding stage. Now, officials are acting right now. They've already shut down some minor roads in the Portage area, and sandbags are available to residents at the Columbia County Highway Shop in Wyocena. Now, if you see water on the road, follow the golden rule: turn around, don't drown. As little as 6 inches of moving water can sweep a car off the road. Now, Adams County dealing with similar problems and taking similar precautions. They're telling anyone who was maybe thinking of going to the Wisconsin River this weekend to have some fun in the sun to rethink that. The current could be very strong at that point. Back to you.
Good advice. Keely Arthur reporting live for us. Thank you.
Still to come tonight at 4, Samsung is about to unveil its new foldable phone.
There's one little hang-up. The screen on some of the $2,000 phones stopped working. More on that when Live at 4 continues. Welcome back. Samsung's highly anticipated foldable phone is about to hit the market.
But there are reports of some major glitches. Several tech experts who were sent the $6,000 phone, that's a very expensive phone, are seeing some serious issues. It started for Bloomberg Tech's Mark Gurman when he took off a protective layer. And after that, the screen no longer worked. In a statement, Samsung says we will thoroughly inspect the units in person to determine the cause of the matter, and they plan to go ahead with the April 26th rollout.
Samsung's not going to postpone. They're going to go full steam ahead, and that's because it's very important for them to be a fast mover in this space. Foldable phones are coming. It's not just Samsung making them. There are other companies too.
Joel Court did say if you're thinking of getting a Fold, you might want to wait a little bit to make sure that the glitches in the devices are not widespread.
That's good advice.
They're pretty cool, aren't they?
$2,000.
Yeah, looks really neat though.
Yep. Well, stocks ended a holiday-shortened week with some modest gains. The Dow Industrials nearing a record high, added 110 points, ending the week at 26,559. The NASDAQ Composite Index was up almost 2. The S&P 500 gained 4.5. It is almost the weekend in the 608.
Madison Magazine Associate Editor Joel Patnaud is with us while Emmy Fink continues on her maternity leave. Hi, Joel.
Hi, Joel. Hi. Good to see you.
The weekend is almost here.
It is.
We're going to start with a little music.
Yeah. At the Memorial Union Shannon Hall is the Victor Wooten Band. And if you haven't heard of him, he's only one of the greatest bass guitarists of all time. At least that's what Rolling Stone calls him on their top 10 list. But Victor Wooten is coming with his Wooten Woods Experience. Now, this is a nature and music camp that he runs in Tennessee, and some of the students, graduates of that program, will be with him. So it sounds like it could be a really cool show.
Oh, neat.
He's a big name.
Yeah.
All right. And we've had Broadway shows come to Overture on and off, but we have a real Broadway performer coming this weekend.
Yes. Friday night, tomorrow night, is an evening with Bernadette Peters. And she is a consummate musical theater performer.
She's a bona fide Broadway star, that's for sure.
Right, and she was a star of the most recent Broadway production of Hello, Dolly. She's coming here, though, with her cabaret retrospective of a career that is decades long. She's a Tony Award-winning performer, having been in several Stephen Sondheim musicals, from Sunday in the Park with George, Into the Woods, and Gypsy. But she's been on TV since the 60s and has recorded several solo albums, so that should be amazing.
It should be amazing.
So if you can't get tickets to see Bernadette Peters, there's another show at the Barrymore you can go to see.
Right, and this is a little more local, but Josh Hoyer and the Soul Colossal is a 5-piece band from Lincoln, Nebraska. They put out 4 albums in Motown and soul, and their lead singer actually was a contestant on NBC's The Voice a couple years ago. And opening for them is a band that many more people locally know, and more than twice as large, the disco favorite VO5.
Oh, they're wonderful.
And, yeah, and the Barrymore, it says on their website that they are bringing back the VO5 Hot Oil Dancers.
Well, there you go.
So that enough.
Fun for the whole family. Speaking of fun for the whole family and staying at the Barrymore, there is a family event there.
There is. The Purple Circus is being described as a sort of otherworldly dance and music event with aerial artists tapping into the music of Prince, but also serving as awareness for the problems of opioid addiction and raising money for a local treatment facility.
So it's a fundraiser as well.
It is, but it's also very much an all-ages event that is a celebration of movement and music. So.
A fun fundraiser. Exactly. Lots going on as usual.
There really is.
Joel, thank you.
Thanks, Joel.
Sure.
Get this month's Madison Magazine for all of the best in the Madison area.
And we'll be right back.
Take a look at this. New Zealand teenager Charlie O'Brien broke the Guinness World Record for swinging over 33 hours on a local park swing set. He started on Wednesday morning, swinging through the night at the park, taking a 5-minute break every hour to drink and use the restroom. His world record category was called nonstop swinging. He now has to wait to get the record officially verified by the Guinness people. He's a real swinger.
He's a real swinger.
Today's the big day.
Yes.
The chairs go out on the Memorial Union Terrace.
Look, it is a...
Can we take a live picture of that? There we go. This is a live shot of the terrace. Everyone bundled up in their down jackets.
Bucky's there?
There's Bucky.
This has become a big deal. People line up to volunteer to carry a chair onto the terrace.
I heard there was a huge line.
There's 1,000 chairs.
Okay.
Last year...
Bucky, what are you doing?
That's funny.
Last year, 250 went missing.
Oh, while they were putting them out?
No,
oh,
during the season.
During the season, okay.
I don't think they get up and walk on their own.
No, and the thing is, you can buy your own. You don't have to take
well, there's
them.
$350 each, and but you can only get red and white.
Only red and white.
You can't get the iconic colors, the green.
Oh, there's the band.
There's the band, yep.
Green, the yellow, and the orange.
Yes.
Green is for John Deere tractors, and the yellow and orange are for Alice Chalmers. Also represents spring, summer, and fall.
And the students are helping put the chairs out, and then they get a little goodie bag, right?
The first 200.
They had a little treat bag when they all came out. But again, everyone out there bundled up right now. You notice a few caps out on the lake. Unfortunately, it's a little breezy outside right now, a little cloudy too. However, this weekend does look pretty good. Yes, kind of matches my pants. Thank you.
You can buy these at the UW bookstore.
And at the Union.
And
at the Union.
$12.50.
$12.50 for your own little chair.
Hard to sit on.
If you have a hamster or some other small item that you can place
your
in
dollhouse.
Your dollhouse, it works fine. A cute tiny puppy, like a Yorkie puppy, it would be good for. So maybe okay. I'm gonna stick to the forecast.
Terrace weather will eventually get here.
Terrace weather is on the way. Again, you can see the wind right now on the lake.
Look at those waves.
Whew, pick it up. We'll take a closer look at what's ahead for your Friday and Saturday right after the break. Unfortunately, it's a little dreary outside right now. Thankfully, we're not looking at any showers or thunderstorms, though, just clouds, a little bit of a breeze, and some cooler air for the day. Looking at our visible cloud track so far today, we really haven't had many breaks at all. This cloud coverage steadily by tomorrow morning, though, we will finally become mostly clear. It's going to take a little bit of time, though, for us to get that clearing sky. Looking at our Doppler track, it's been pretty quiet so far today. Again, good news for us. The only real chance for any moisture might be just a few raindrops outside. Right now, it sort of feels like it's misting in Madison. Maybe in some other areas that we feel just a few little raindrops, but overall, no showers that we're even picking up on our Doppler track. That cold front that slid through is now off to the east. It's going to continue to travel east, bringing showers right now into eastern Michigan, down through Indiana. They're seeing some thunderstorms. We're on the back side of this low pressure now, so not ruling out the chance in central or northern Wisconsin to see a few more isolated showers, but our chance is really out of here for any sort of moisture coming through. Our breeze coming from the northwest, as you can see, again on the back side of that low pressure, so it is that cooler air moving in. And with the cloud deck overhead, our temperatures just really weren't able to warm up too much today. Even with the cooler air, we could have climbed a little more, but we don't have any sun to help out with that. So we are going to stay pretty steady with our temps for the next few hours. Close to 50 for us, hovering right in that upper 40s range for much of the area. And we stay cloudy again overnight. Again, a chance, slight chance for a sprinkle or two, but really towards central Wisconsin. Overnight lows will fall to the upper 30s to start off your Friday, so it'll be a little cool outside early in the day. And then afternoon highs will climb to the upper 50s. It'll be quite a jump from where we're at today. And even though the breeze will be coming from the northeast, we are expecting sunshine, so it really will be pretty okay outside for your Friday afternoon. If you're hoping for things to be a little more mild with temperatures, good news for your Saturday. In the morning, it'll be a little cool, mid to low 30s for overnight lows, but by the afternoon, we're looking at those high temperatures in the mid 60s. So a bit of a jump there heading towards Saturday. Those temperatures will be above average by Saturday. Right now, it is a little breezy outside. Tomorrow morning will also be a little breezy. This is a look at our future wind gust potential. We can see those gusts anywhere from 20 to 25 miles per hour really for tomorrow morning. So keep that in mind. It's going to be a little cool outside, and even later in the day, it'll stay just a little breezy for us. The winds will steadily start to diminish later in the evening. Right now, we're still holding on to 43 in Madison. We may climb up just a degree or two more, but likely not going to climb too much for our afternoon heading into this evening. 46 in Janesville and in Mineral Point currently. Same goes for Platteville. And with that breeze that we currently have, it does put our wind chill just a little cooler than our actual temperatures. It feels closer to 39 in Janesville and 37 in Madison. Because of that breeze for tomorrow morning, there's going to be a little bit of a wind chill for early in the day. Also, even later in the afternoon, we may see a bit of a wind chill. So it's going to be cool outside, but we may again have those temperatures or the wind chill feeling just a little cooler than our actual temperatures. Over the next few hours, we're holding pretty steady. No big drop even after sunset, after 7:30. So we got a little bit of time until sunset. The temps aren't going to move around too much. Overnight lows in the upper 30s, again, mostly cloudy. A little breezy as those wind speeds will be from 10 to 20 miles per hour. Our sustained wind speeds tomorrow, 15 to 25 miles per hour. Those gusts, again, 20 to 30 possible throughout the morning, but they'll start to diminish later in the afternoon as that low pressure pulls a little further away. We're expecting a mostly sunny sky, and it won't be nearly as cool with those afternoon highs. Looking ahead to the weekend, temperature-wise for Saturday and Sunday, things look quite nice. Mid-60s on Saturday, low 70s for your Easter Sunday. There's a slight chance for an afternoon shower or thunderstorm late in the day on Sunday in front of our next system. That'll be bringing some scattered showers for Monday. Temperatures are above average over the weekend, and as we move into next week, it does look like we're going to hover pretty close to average, just tight a degree or two above or below, which is good news. No more major drops or pickups for us heading into next week. So we've got some nice weather to enjoy.
It looks very nice.
It does. Yes,
we
perfect for the
it.
weekend. We have. We've earned it.
All right, Dana, thank you. And still to come for, as you see, it's going to eventually warm up around here, and that means it will soon be lawn cutting season.
The UW Health wants you to cut your grass safely. We'll find out about their new lawn safety campaign when Live at 4 continues.
live look at the UW Memorial Union as volunteers continue to get the terrace chairs out for the season.
Look at the lake, though. Look at the waves.
It's a little rough out there. Yeah. Well, this weather can't stay this cool forever, and that means lawn care season is upon us.
Now, don't let sharp blades or flying debris ruin the entire season for you with a trip to the hospital. It happens more often than you might think. UW Health is launching a lawnmower safety campaign this spring. Dr. Ken Noonan is an orthopedic surgeon at American Family Children's Hospital, and 14-year-old John Eno is with us today. He's one of Dr. Noonan's patients. Good to see both of you. Welcome to Live.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So, Dr. Noonan, how common is this?
Well, depending upon the source, across the United States, there's expected to be 5,000 to 9,500 lawnmower injuries in children this year.
Wow.
And if you think about the math, there's going to be about 100 to 150 children in Wisconsin that will suffer some form of an injury from a lawnmower this summer. And that can range from just a burn from a muffler to a catastrophic injury like John had. We know that about 800 children this year will be run over by a riding lawnmower. 600 of them will lose a limb. Lawnmowers are the #1 cause of amputation in children under age 10. And unfortunately, about 15 kids are going to die this year from lawnmower injuries.
Wow, those are staggering numbers.
They're horrific numbers.
And how about stuff flying out of the lawnmowers?
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is the projectiles can be going 100 miles an hour, and you can injure someone in the eye or the stomach. And that's one of the big problems, is that when you're on a riding lawnmower, you can't hear your child in the yard, and you don't know that they're out there. And that's the scenario that happened with John here. And that we have several recommendations about lawnmower safety, one of which is make sure that all children under 6 are in the house. Because they run behind the lawnmower, they want to catch up with grandma and grandpa. They don't see them, they don't hear them, they back up the lawnmower, and then they run over the child.
John, that's essentially what happened to you. Tell us your story.
When I was 6, I was at my grandparents' house, and I was following my dad's riding lawnmower. Whenever he normally backed up, I would hop out of the way because that was the smart thing. And one time I got distracted by something, I don't even remember what it was anymore. And he didn't see me, and he ran right over me.
And what happened to you?
I lost half of my toe, and my kneecap completely went off. I could see straight down to the bone.
Oh.
It's pretty brave of you. You pulled up your athletic pants so that we can see your knee. Dr. Noonan, can you explain the extent of John's injuries for us?
Well, the thing about lawnmower injuries in children is that they have lots of problems in the acute stage, but it has a long-term, lifelong effect. John lost his kneecap, which decreases the knee power by about 40%, but more importantly, it also took off half of his growth plate. And that left him with a limb that wouldn't grow or be as strong, and he had to undergo probably about 15 operations, including within the last 2 years, limb lengthening and reconstruction for a deformed leg. Thankfully, he's done very well, and the thing about John, he's a superstar. So
you're a survivor, John.
Yeah, he pushed through a lot of pain and suffering to have a limb that actually functions pretty well. But he's one of the exceptions. Many children will lose a limb.
So John, what did you learn through all of this?
Well, I learned it's good to be a smart person and not follow the lawnmower.
Well, you know, though, it seems like common sense, but these are such powerful machines that people really take for granted. You don't realize the power and the force of a lawnmower.
Yeah, we have 3 recommendations that the American Academy of Pediatrics has put out there, which are common sense, and they're not hard and fast rules, but make sense. If you have a child under 6, make sure they're in the house. Know where your kid is. If a child is less than 12 and they're small and don't have good strength, perhaps they shouldn't be using a push lawnmower. And the recommendation is, unless you have a driver's license or have been behind the wheel of a vehicle, you shouldn't be on a riding lawnmower because these things tip over. Kids don't know to go head down. They go sideways on hills, and that's where we see a lot of the trauma and a lot of the tragedy. And studies have shown that if we could just keep those 3 things in mind, keep your 6-year-old in the house, don't let a 12-year-old push a lawnmower, and don't let a 16-year-old ride a lawnmower, we can cut down on the trauma 75%.
And some of the old lawnmowers, they don't have the automatic, the push ones, they don't have the automatic shut-off when you let go.
Yeah, agreed. And the thing is, you know, I have a 30-year-old lawnmower, And most of us get one and they last a long time. And a lot of the safety features that are out there now are not in today's garages.
John, what has your life been like since this? How are you doing today?
I mean, I'm doing pretty well. I have nothing to complain about besides a couple minor problems during football season when I did do football. I don't do it anymore because I don't really want to deal with those. So.
Well, you are an extraordinary young man.
He's a superstar. You're right. Well, thanks for being with us today, and let's be safe out there.
It's such an important message. Thanks to both of you.
Thank you.
Well, the release of the full Mueller
39
report,
and 90. I didn't move it.
with some redactions, dominated the headlines today.
When we come back, political expert Charles Franklin is in the green room. He'll join us with his perspective on what we've learned when Live at 4 continues.
We're moving a little slow on the Beltline right now. Unfortunately, much of Dane County seems to be in a pretty okay spot. But again, as you look at the Beltline, both east and westbound actually seeing delays currently. Near Prairie du Sac, we're actually seeing some delays downtown, also towards Baraboo, but nothing major going through 12. And then as we do look at the Beltline, those eastbound speeds down to about 17 miles per hour if you're getting a little closer to the exit for 18. Near Park Street at 18 miles per hour. And then as you get closer to 90, speeds pick back up again. Westbound side also seeing delays around Park Street. Janesville doesn't look too bad, just a few stopping spots near downtown. But it should be pretty smooth, normal commute times for us right now. 6 minutes from Verona to the Beltline, Oregon to the Beltline, 8 minutes, and 4 minutes from Springfield to University Avenue. If you're traveling from Janesville up to the Beltline, 27 minutes, 17 minutes from Sauk City to Middleton, and southbound Sun Prairie to downtown. Added a few minutes onto our time, but 19 minutes still not too bad for you this evening. That's a quick look at our first alert traffic.
All right, Dana, thank you. Fred Lawrence is a World War II vet, and he celebrated his 98th birthday by going to the gym. Fred and his friend Jeremy have been gym buddies for a couple of years now. They work out together 3 times a week. Fred survived 3 tours of duty during World War II and went on to be a pastor.
That is inspiring.
98 years old.
Now I feel guilty.
Well, now more on the top story of the day. A redacted version of the long-awaited Mueller report, as you know, is now public.
The director of the Marquette Law School poll, Charles Franklin, is back with us. Thanks for being back, Charles.
Good to be here.
So the report is now public. Everyone can read it for themselves, as everyone should. Right. What were your impressions?
Well, there are 3 big points to it. I think the first and most clear is that Russia did interfere, and that was directed at high levels of the Russian government. The second was that while collusion is a poorly defined legal term, conspiracy is what the Mueller investigation focused on. And while they saw multiple contacts between the Russians and the campaign, they did not find the evidence to establish an ongoing back and forth conspiracy between the two. So that's another strong conclusion. But then the part that's getting the most discussion is whether President Trump attempted to obstruct justice, and that is all of volume 2 of the report. Yes, it comes in 2 volumes. And that's where they failed to reach a conclusion. They say, while we did not charge, we also did not exonerate. And so that incredibly ambiguous message is the last part.
Back to the first point, it's stunning to think about it. Outside Russian influence influenced our election.
I think it's very important. There are 2 parts to it. One was the social media effort, and the second was the hacking of Democratic National Committee and Clinton campaign people that was then released through various ways, but including WikiLeaks. And that it came from high levels of the Russian intelligence establishment is a really important thing. In our poll last week, 60% accepted that Russia interfered, but 32% still didn't think they did. So it'll be very interesting to see whether these conclusions move that 32% to now accept the idea that Russia was involved and did interfere in the election, separate from the Trump campaign's role.
Do you think this will change anybody's mind?
As I said, I think this really clear thing on Russia could. I think it's possible that the lack of conspiracy might. We, again, last week found 53% thought that there was not a conspiracy, there was not collusion. That might go up in light of that. But on this most ambiguous thing where people's opinions are so set in advance, and where the evidence is so ambiguous, that seems very unlikely to move people off the 45-45 split we saw in the poll last week.
A country divided, that's for sure. So does Congress take this up now?
It's certainly possible that Congress will. I'm sure there will be calls that, while this might not have been, have led Mueller to criminally prosecute people, some are arguing, certainly could lead to an impeachment process, or hearings at least. Again, to go back to the poll, we saw support for impeachment hearings go down after the Barr letter came out. Now, after this report is out, and especially after people have a little time to digest it and hear about it, be very interesting to watch the national polling to see whether impeachment pressure goes up or comes down.
Do you think we'll hear from Robert Mueller himself?
You know, I don't know. He's been so quiet throughout the investigation. It would be quite a surprise to hear from him, though there's certainly been discussion of him appearing before Congress and testifying there. So I can certainly imagine that happening. I'd be surprised if he says anything to contradict what's in his own report, though. So insofar as that goes, reading the report is probably the best evidence from him.
The Attorney General received quite a bit of criticism today in making this announcement. I mean, is that going to influence people at all?
I think it already has fed into the narrative that Barr had sort of released the sunniest picture of all of this, and that there's much more detail in the report. That second volume goes through an awful lot of incidents, many of which we had read about in some level of detail, but here you're going into great detail in which President Trump puts pressure on other White House officials to create documents that say Trump didn't interfere here and things like that. Also, there's discussion of that June 9th meeting in the Trump campaign people with Russians, where Trump helped draft a press statement. But the report explicitly says lying to the press is not a crime, and that he did not appear to interfere with the release of the underlying documents when they were sought by investigators.
And speaking of the press being accused of fake news, a lot of the stuff that they've reported is in this Mueller report.
I think that overall, the big picture is not surprising. I believe I'd heard the vast majority of it. The fine details of who said what to whom, and especially when you see in the report several different perspectives. So in Trump's one-on-one meetings with then FBI Director Comey, the report reveals 3 or 4 different perspectives of people who observed the meeting or the beginning of it, and so it brings together that sort of more complete picture of how we might think about that meeting.
Is it easy to absorb, or is it a lot of legalese for people who want to read it for themselves?
Well, I would recommend skipping some of the legalese. There are big sections that talk about what the statutory authority is to charge and what the standards of evidence is. And a casual reader may not enjoy those. If you get into the details, you might enjoy it. But the narrative in the bigger picture of what happened and who did what and met with whom, I found it pretty readable.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. All right, Charles. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Good to see you.
Thank you for reading the fourths today. We'll be right back with the final check of your forecast. Grab a jacket.
Yes, it is cool, it is cloudy, it is dreary, but thankfully it's not showery or stormy outside. Now we do have a few little misty spots. So if you're stepping out the door, do know you may feel a few raindrops, but that's about it. We're at 43 currently in Madison, about 46 in Janesville, and we're really not going to move around much with our temperatures overnight falling to the upper 30s with a bit of a breeze. Anywhere really from 8 to 15 miles per hour for us. Temperatures tomorrow will be in the upper 50s. It'll be seasonal. It'll be sunny. So if you are not happy with what's going on outside right now, just hold on. Friday is looking much, much better for us. And the weekend also looking great.
The sun always helps.
Yes, it does.
All right, Dana, thank you. And tomorrow here on Live at 4, Michael Bruno goes backstage at the world premiere of Raid, Attack on Stonewall.
And Lola and Louie have the best animal stories of the week on the News Hounds Update. That's tomorrow on Live at 4. In today's Final Touch, a peek at some peeps.
Lots of peeps. In fact, the Peeps as Art Show is taking place at the Riverfront Arts Center up in